My career progression of being a professor is much like everybody else's. I went into the career as kind of a broken person. And I thought that I was going to perfect myself, that education was my out to prove to the world that I am somehow better than what the world thinks of me. And I think that this story is very consistent with a lot of people that go into it. And they go into it being very insecure. And what happens is that you want to demonstrate to everybody around you that you are somehow, you're proving to somehow everybody else that you are valid, that you matter. And when you get into the profession, this is what happens. You get in and you become a professor. You go and do your PhD, which is a long journey, and you become a professor. And all of a sudden, you start realizing that you're being measured on these different elements, these different metrics, all the way through. As soon as you start in, you're competing. You are really feeling this pressure that you are somehow being weighted against everybody else. I'm going to tell you this, no matter what program, what school, what institution, what country that you're in, you're going to feel this pressure where you think that you are somehow competing with absolutely everybody around you. And here's the thing, I often don't live up to those metrics. And I used to think about that and think in my head that, the metrics are wrong. That those metrics, they're very imperfect. They don't measure what I am doing. And the truth is, in my field, what I do, that might be the case. But I'm willing to admit that they're likely the truth. And if they're the truth, then I'm a failure. And I think that's okay. I think I've come to the realization that I'm okay perpetually being a failure, perpetually not being good enough, perpetually staying at the moment where everybody thinks that I am somehow not adequate. I'm okay with all of that. And I think, to me, it's somewhat freeing to go through that, where this is hard for me to take, and every day I still go through those moments where I think that I'm not good enough and that I have to prove to the world. But then I stop and think, and I reflect on that, and I say, I am a failure. And that's okay. I think if I take a step back and I perpetually think of myself all the time like this, I can be free from a lot of it. I think instead of not how other people view me, that is a strong force inside of me still. There's a lot that goes on. I'm always worried about what other people are thinking of me. But at this moment in my life, I'm letting go of some of that. I'm thinking of that no matter what, if I'm a failure, I'm okay with that. And I might not live up to other people's standards. Well, that is fine. And that's where I have to have empathy and think about other people, where I think, why is it that you view me as a failure? Why is it that you actually have to compete and think that there is somehow something better that is going on and these metrics actually matter? Why is it that that is important to you? And I always have to question that if I'm feeling this, why is it that other people are feeling it and not saying anything? Or that we're not questioning the evaluation process and simply just saying, well, that might be true. And that's absolutely probably true. But why do we have to use that? What does that actually mean? I think if you break it down, you think, okay, if it's the case because we need to have these metrics and all this kind of stuff to make sure that we are doing the things that we're supposed to do, and we're tied to, it's called agency theory for those of you who are interested in it. We are tied to the things that we're supposed to do. Why do we actually believe that? Do these metrics actually matter somehow? to these other people? And if they do, why are they so vivid in your mind? I think about that all the time, where, I used to internalize so much of this, and I still do. I very much do. But I'm thinking about it in a bit of a higher order now, where I think about, why is it that we are using these despite we know that they're not good? What does that mean? How are other people feeling inside? I want you to take a step back and think about all of that. Why is it that you're feeling the way that you're feeling? And if it's the case that you are a failure, then so be it. You're a failure. I could take a step back and I think at any moment, that's okay. I can stop. I can go do something. I can go exploring. I can quit everything and just live off the grid, which sounds wonderful many days. But, I question, I want you to think about that. I want you to really go to that. If there's people that are making you feel bad, or that there are circumstances in your life that you're feeling bad about it, actually admit it, that might be the case. But then think about the higher order. Why is it that they actually need to feel like that? Why is it that is so important? And I think once you start questioning that, and you start thinking, wait a minute, I'm perpetually going to be a failure no matter what, I think you come out of it feeling much better about yourself. You realize that there's a lot more to life than these feelings of success and failure and all those other things that go along with it. And then you question, why is it that it actually matters to other people so much? I know what your response is going to be for many of those who actually believe in them so strongly. Well, that's just because he's a failure. Yep, it's true. So be it. And that's okay. I'm going to keep getting up. I'm going to do this every day. And I think some people will hear this, what I'm trying to say. Other people won't. But if you're the one that's hearing this, just a minute, and then walk forward. There's not a lick of difference that's going to matter anyways. And as soon as you start admitting it, you can take that step forward and do okay. And reframe it. Why are we actually worried about this and thinking about it? Why is it such an important part? You can walk away at any given time and be happy. And I think that is ultimately the key thing. Come to work trying to smile. Coming to work, doing the thing, trying to whistle. Just having a good time. If nobody likes it, because you're not being good enough, that's okay too. Good on you. All right. Have a wonderful day. And just take those steps forward. Take care.